In December of 2016, my husband Avery and I found out we were pregnant with our first child. Fast forward in that pregnancy to about 24 weeks, I found out that our baby had a condition called CDH, congenital diaphragmatic hernia. Basically, he had a hole in his diaphragm that made it so his large organs would go up into his chest and take up the room where his lungs needed to grow. Babies with this condition have about a 50% chance of living. And so from 26 weeks on, we were not sure if our baby was going to survive or not. Realizing that I might not get to keep him and not knowing if he was gonna stay or not was just Baby Donovan came at 6:37 in the morning on September 5th, and I got to hold him for about 30 seconds before they needed to cut the cord and take him away and resuscitate him and help him to breathe. I didn't know if I would see him again after that. The only thing that gave me peace in that time was knowing that God already knew what was to come and that He promised to be with us through it all. We had 12 days in the NICU with him, and during that time it felt like I was walking every day with God as my companion, just like constantly in prayer. After about 10 days, they detected a brain bleed, and we had to take him off of this machine that was keeping him alive. And Avery and I sat there watching our son in this room with a ton of doctors, and all we could see was his tiny top of his head. At that point, I was still praying for a miracle, and we didn't get it. We held our son for the first time and prayed over him and sang to him and read to him and whispered all the things you'd want him to hear into his ear. And we eventually had to say goodbye. Knowing that God has this ability to do miracles, I couldn't understand why God didn't answer all of those prayers. It was hard to reshape what my faith looked like with this bitterness. I know it's not easy. It's not going to be easy to be grieving a son that we never got to raise. We've had a daughter since then. She's absolutely wonderful. And I'm reminded that He's still going to keep providing for us. But no matter how many kids I have at home with me, Donovan will always be missing. But without God and without my faith, I don't see the hope in it. And I have to cling to that hope that He gives me.